how I did the shaker on the front. So first of all, let me show you a little bit about the front. I took this page that has the October 31 and I put the stripe on the bottom, and then this little feature came from the cover page of the album right there on the bottom. I just cut it off, cut a little bit off of it, and it just was a good divider between the two. Of course, that is backed on the tomato soup orange. It's not a bright orange, but anyhow, I had coordinating paper, and so I backed that. So that's the basis. I haven't attached it yet. I will. Oh, here's another secret. Let me show you this. So I didn't have that much of this cardstock, and I needed a piece of it for this. So I took my tag after I had fussy cut this because I had gotten the sheets earlier, and I put it on the red paper, and then I cut, this was before I added this backing paper, and then I cut a rectangle out of it so then I could use that and fussy cut around here. Why did I use that? So I didn't have to use a full sheet of paper for this little piece, and nobody will know. If I didn't tell you that I cut a piece out of it, you would not know. So just me being cheap and saving paper. I really only had limited amount of the paper, and I wanted it to go through the whole book. So I will put this Happy Halloween up at the top. Want something else to go on there, but I don't want it to cover up that October 31, so I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do. It might just be enamel dots. And then, of course, I want that on the bottom, but I want to make this into a shaker, and jack-o'-lanterns are perfect for that. I fussy cut out two exact same pieces of black cardstock to go around Jack. So you can see there is not even 1/8 of an inch around it. But it does two things. It makes this a little more solid, and then it gives me a bottom piece. So what I want to do, let me turn Jack over for a second, and either use a temporary adhesive or some ATG, and it can be pulled off if you need it. And the reason I don't want to put this on here permanent is because I want to go ink around the edges, and I may need it off of this. So let me make sure this is centered on here perfectly. All right, that is not perfect. Let's do that again. Let me center this on here perfectly. ATG is great. I use it when I need something temporary, but I don't use it as a permanent adhesive because to me it's not. I mean, when I'm making cards, if I'm putting bases on, because cards to me are not, unless you're making a work of art, cards are not permanent. Okay, and so now what I'm going to do is cut out you know, your normal pumpkin cutout, leaving a little bit of black at the top when I do it. So let's do something easy. Let's do the nose, because that's a perfect triangle. And I'm going through 2 layers. So I'm not going to the orange. I'm going a little inside. So there still will be a little outline of the black. Whenever you're doing cutting with a knife like this, make sure you have a new blade. So there we go. There's our first hole. It's going to be fabulous. All right, let's do the eye. Now you could use the scissors, and I'm sure you could use a Brothers Scan and Cut. I don't have a Brothers Scan and Cut, so I can't say for sure how. I was watching somebody who had just gotten a Brothers Scan and Cut, and they were fussy cutting something out by hand because it was too much trouble to get the Brothers Scan and Cut out. Do you guys do that who have the Brothers Scan and Cuts? See, that's what I'm afraid of. I have a Cricut sitting on my desk 3 feet away from me. And there are times that I think, oh, I could do that with my Cricut. But I do it by hand because the Cricut is, it's just, you know, stopping what you're doing and doing something electronic, I guess is what it is. I don't know. All right, I'm going to cut the rest of this out in fast motion because you don't want to hear me talk for another 5 minutes. Okay, so you notice I didn't go all the way up here. Oh, I don't know, should I? I mean, would you even notice if I didn't? I think it's okay. I feel like I guess I should a little. The more I look at it, the more I realize I probably should have. All right, and now here's something else I've realized. So I've got this black background, and we're going to, of course, raise that up. But I wonder if I should have a different color back there. I mean, I feel like it should be like the inside of a pumpkin. Let me see what I can find in my stash. Okay, I found this little piece, which will be perfect underneath that, right? I'm going to gently take this off. And again, I tacked it down with ATG. You could use a temporary adhesive. If you used a regular tape runner, obviously you wouldn't want to use glue because that's pretty permanent. You could use a heat tool to soften up that. And again, the only reason I wanted to do that is because I wanted to ink where I cut, because I don't want the white core to show. Another thing you could do is take a pen and go around where you cut, just so it doesn't, the white doesn't show. I don't know, is that being too picky? Maybe it is. But whatever you want to do. And then I'll do the outside of the pumpkin and its hat, because that's supposed to be black. Under the brim. And there we go. All right, I don't see any white. That bothers me, so we're good with that. All right, the other thing, so I'm going to glue this down. Let's just do that first and let it dry. So I'll add glue, especially those little flaps, those little things that stick out. Okay. And this will go right on top of where I cut. An exact perfect match. There. Okay. So there's that. Now I want to cut, I don't have to cut the whole thing out, but I want to put it where the openings are going to be in Jack. So I'm just going to trace around it, but I'm going to cut inside because it doesn't have to be exact. So I'm going somewhere between 1/8 and 1/4 inch inside that circle that I drew. Oh, it's an egg. I have the wrong holiday. All right, so that can go like that. Let's make sure that will cover perfectly. Look, it's already starting to take shape. I'm so happy about that. So I will put glue as close to the edge as possible because I don't want any of my little shaker elements to get sort of hung up on that. And I've got so much more than I need. So we'll dry that off. Okay, we're doing good. Now I'm going to grab some adhesive. So I have this. And I have that. This is also from Scrapbook Adhesive, and these are lines. I don't know if I can use those, but I know we'll need some of these bigger pieces. This is where I wish I had black also. But I'll be okay. It'll be all right. So I'm going to put it big pieces down where we need some big pieces, but I'm not going to put it right on the edge because I don't want you to see it. And honestly, that is where I can use the lines. And if the white was going to bother me, I could take a marker and color it. All right, now I'm going to grab the lines. And you know you can bend it, because once you take off the backing tape, it's going to bend. So I will go ahead and add this. And cut that off. Add some up there. Use my knife to cut it. And go around the outside now. And let's add another line. You could use pieces of chipboard if you don't have this. I do have black chipboard I could have used. All right, the only thing about when you're doing this is you want to make sure there is not a gap. So I'm going to go around here because you don't want those little pieces to get stuck. So I can go close to there. You don't want any pieces to come out of the inside of that. So I'm just going to go across the top, right across where his brow is going to be. And take off the backing. All right. Let's see how that's going to match up. That will be fabulous. All right, before I put it down, you know what I need? I need, whoops, shakers. So this is a mix from Buttons Galore and More, which I did get from Country Craft Creations. Oh, this is called Spellbound. But here's the crazy thing. There was purple in here. I took out the purple because there's no purple here on the cover. Now, purple's a Halloween color, so it would have been fine, but I'm a little crazy. So I took the purple out. The other thing is I added in red. I know there's no red in here, but there is this reddish orange, and I wanted something deeper. I think I could have lived without it, but I'm just a little crazy. All right. All right, let's put it down. Geez, I'm looking and thinking there's balls in here that might be a little bit too thick for that unless I add another layer of tape. Let me figure this out. All right, let's put this down, making sure I match up the black fussy cut with the black fussy cut, because I cut those at the same time, so they should match exactly. Oh, what did I forget? Acetate. So silly. So silly. Let me get that real quick. Okay, yeah, that would have been, that's pretty important. That's very important. All right, that'll stay down. All right, let's try this again. Okay. You know, I usually don't put in enough, and I feel like now I put in too much. So anyhow, there is the shaker that I can put on my front cover. So that's what I have for you today. Thanks so much for watching. Have a fabulous day.